I was recently challenged by the channel The Sweet Spot for the TCB challenge, which stands for Taking Care of Business. So I brought you along as I take care of business here in the garden. This summer I planted lettuce, arugula, and kale, and absolutely none of it came up. But I noticed what I have here in my hand coming up, and I did one of those app searches to identify it, and it said it was wild radish. However, I think it is really arugula. About 3 bunches came up, so I got them all. And you tell me, what do you think? Does it look like arugula? It is definitely not radish. Then I decided to add a tomato cage to these 2 volunteer tomatoes that I have coming up from last year. That bad boy was all stretched and leaning and doing its own little thing in the garden, and it actually has tomatoes on it. So I wanted to add some support to it because I want to keep it as healthy as possible. After pulling all the weeds out from this spot, I went ahead and took a look at what I thought was the one zucchini that I still had alive, but after looking at it today, I actually just think that is a weed. So you tell me, weed or no, but that is definitely not zucchini. I think I walked into a spider web right there. Not a bad looking cucumber if you ask me. Now on to the okra. I planted okra this year strictly for Mister. He is the only one that likes it in our house. And I've planted okra in the past and I don't ever remember anything coming up. I'm really proud of the okra I have going on this year. I will definitely do it again next year. But my mom had told me to freeze it as I go along, and then I will have okra whenever I want to. So every time I take a little bit out the garden, I make sure that I turn around and freeze it. Moving on to this section, I am just de-weeding and getting all the weeds and grass out of there. I also planted a bunch of radishes in this area and just so happened to be checking it out because I didn't think anything that came up at all, but I have a baby radish. So I'm going to leave the rest of them and see what I can get with them. Hopefully I did not plant them too close together. Now I'm just going to clip these pods off of this collard green that I had for the past 3 years. I call her Dee Dee. But the last time I had clipped off all of her little seed pods, the lawn company came and thought they were trash, so threw them all out. Luckily for me, Dee Dee is still producing, so I was able to get those, and hopefully I can be able to save some of my own collard green seeds. Even though I started out in the garden early Saturday morning, it is starting to get hot. So I am just going to do what I can and then go back in the house for the day. But this section of the garden was my last hurdle. This year I planted butternut squash in that area and absolutely nothing came up. So I just decided to pull up all the weeds, pull up all the grass, and begin to start getting it ready for my fall garden. I saw 2 spiders in that little corner, so after I composed myself, I just kept on moving along. but I did not finish pulling up the weeds and grass. So I just want to give a big shout out to the channel, The Sweet Spot, and thank you so much for challenging me to the Taking Care of Business Challenge, TCB. Thank you for watching.